said, there's no like timeline. It was just like over the past like month or so, and I still have them, and I haven't returned them because if you were wondering, I have like a little like library thing nearby, so I just like borrow books and put them back. So yeah. So anyway, I have the books here, and what I'm gonna do is basically just read the back of them, the description, what it's about, and then give a little like short opinion about how I feel about them. So that's basically it. I don't know if I'm gonna do a number system, I guess, or like a rating of stars out of 5, I guess. 5 would be like a really great book, would perhaps read again. But I'd say nothing's getting 5, so yeah. Anyway, bear with me. I obviously haven't done this before, so let me know if you like this video and if you want to see more of these in the future. So yeah, let's just get started then. So this is in no particular order. It's not by like which one I finished first or which one's my favorite. This just so happens to be the first one that I have, and this one is the one I finished. So this one is Fiona Barton's The Widow. And it has like those raised letters, so it sounds very good. Alright. There's a lot Jean hasn't said over the years about the crime her husband was suspected of committing. She was too busy being the perfect wife, standing by her man while living with the accusing glares and the anonymous harassment. Now her husband is dead, and there is no reason to stay quiet. There are people who want to hear her story. They want to know what it is like living with that man. She can tell them that there were secrets. There always are in a marriage. The truth, that's all anyone wants. But the one lesson Jean has learned in the last few years is that she can make people believe anything. So, this book I thought was like pretty decent. I don't know. I don't really have like many thoughts about it. It was kind of surprising at like a little bit of a twist, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little picky, and I feel like it in the beginning was like a little bit slow, and then like towards the end picked up, and like I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it needed to be as long as it was. I feel like there were certain parts that dragged on a little bit more, maybe not super essential, but my opinion, again, I thought it was a pretty decent book, so I probably rate it somewhere between like, I don't know, like a 3.5 and a 4, probably more 4, because it was pretty good. I mean, definitely like wasn't bad. I don't know. That's like such a bad description or like review. I don't know, I guess was pretty good again. No notes. I think the beginning was a little like long in comparison to like the end, like I said, where I felt like a lot of background was given. And then like the end was just like, oh, and here's what happened. You know, I don't know. If you read like a lot of crime books, you probably know what I'm talking about. Where sometimes they drag it on a little bit, give you a lot of background that feels maybe not so necessary. But I get it. It's better than being like, here's what happened. Anyhow, at the very least, if you do not care about my not so great descriptions, I hope that the whispers are at least tingly, 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 tingly. And if you want to see more of these, I promise I'll try to get better, but I'm not gonna lie, some of these I read like a couple weeks ago, so my memory's not super fresh on them because I'm reading something else, so I apologize. Anyway, this next one is the one that I'm currently reading, and I am only 22 pages in, so I really don't have a review at all. But I mean, I guess it's decent. I'm gonna continue reading it. It's not bad. It is the Countdown, or it's not the Countdown, it's Countdown by James Patterson and Brendan Dubois. And it says it's a thriller. And it says on the front, she has 5 days to save the world. So this is a thriller. So the back says 5 days to save the world, 4 days to save her family, 3 hours to find the world's most dangerous double agent. Alright. Agent Amy Cornwall excels at working from the shadows until a botched field operation reveals dark dealings between her bosses and an informant and a hidden terrorist plot that could kill thousands of Americans. Among them, her husband and daughter. She has to go dark. The agency wants to erase her. And they know every detail about her identity, her history, and her family. Agent Cornwall's countdown has begun. So like I said, I don't really have an opinion on this book, like, at all, because I just started it. But I mean, so far so good. If you, like, well, I mean, if you know James Patterson, you kind of know his types of books. They're very, like, combat, like, military, US, FBI, CIA, Secret Service, foreign operation type stuff. So if you're into that, you'll probably like this. The next book is one that I finished. Well, these last two are ones that I finished. And this one is called The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. So this one says soon to be a major motion picture. It's already out, if I believe. I have not watched it. If you have, let me know. And if you have watched it and read the book, let me know how accurate it is. So, this one says Anna Fox lives alone, a recluse in her New York City home, unable to venture outside. She spends her days drinking wine, maybe too much, watching old movies, recalling happier times, and spying on her neighbors. Then the Russells move into the house across the way. A father, a mother, their teenage son, the perfect family. But when Anna, gazing out her window one night, sees something she shouldn't, her world begins to crumble, and its shocking secrets are laid bare. What is real? What is imagined? Who is in danger? Who is in control? In this diabolically gripping thriller, no one and nothing is what it seems. So, this one was also pretty good. I don't know if I think I would probably rate it more of like, not quite like a 3.5, but not quite a 4, because I think The Widow was better than this one. But I think like 3.5 might be a little too low. So like, if there was like a 3.75 star, I'd give it like a 3.75. Again, maybe I'm just impatient, but sometimes with books, like I said, I feel like it drags on before it gets to like who done it or like who it is, and sometimes I feel like it's good if it keeps you guessing, but this one was one of those where what happened and who done it or whatever it is just kind of seemed random, and like you couldn't really have suspected it from what you were reading, if that makes sense. Because I feel if you again are an avid true crime or like thriller reader, then you probably know what I'm talking about. Like the red herrings, the someone who seems suspicious, like I don't know, the butler that has a huge knife covered in blood around the same time someone's found dead, but it just so happened that they were cutting steak. So stuff like that, except I felt like this one, if I were to put it in, without giving it away, obviously no spoilers, if I were to put it in terms of like that, it was kind of like this one has the description on the inner sleeve. Ray Atlee is a professor of law at the University of Virginia. He's 43, newly single, and still enduring the aftershocks of a surprise divorce. He has a younger brother, Forrest, who redefines the notion of a family's black sheep. And he has a father, a very sick old man who lives alone in the ancestral home in Clanton, Mississippi. He is known to all as Judge Atlee, a beloved and powerful official who has towered over local law and politics for 40 years. No longer on the bench, the judge has withdrawn to the Atlee mansion and become a recluse. With the end in sight, Judge Atlee issues a summons for both sons to return home to Clanton to discuss the details of his estate. It is typed by the judge himself on his handsome old stationery and gives the date and time for Ray and Forrest to appear in his study. Ray reluctantly heads south to his hometown, to the place where he grew up, which he prefers now to avoid. But the family meeting does not take place. The judge dies too soon, and in doing so leaves behind a shocking secret known only to Ray and perhaps someone else. So, I would rate this book probably like 3 stars. It definitely was not as good in comparison to The Woman in the Window and The Widow. I think if I give The Woman in the Window like a 3.75, then this book definitely couldn't even be a 3.5. It's definitely more of a 3. I honestly didn't even really like it that much. It was bulky, kind of a drag, kind of had to get through. I feel bad saying that. But it just didn't really keep my interest. I don't know. I definitely don't regret reading it. Like, it was still overall interesting, but it wasn't super exciting. I am definitely, as you saw, more of like a crime thriller, psychological type of girl, and I don't even know if this is considered a thriller of any kind. But if it is, it shouldn't be. I don't know, it didn't really keep me on my toes. I wouldn't say that it was predictable. Sometimes I would say books are not good because they're predictable. This wasn't predictable. It just was kind of, I don't know, a little But if this book sounds interesting to you, then I would say read it. If you are into more exciting psychological thrillers, something that really keeps you guessing, this is not the one, but it's overall still pretty decent. So again, The Summons by Josh Grisham.